detail in the upcoming presentation. And if there's anything throughout the presentation that you have questions about, please feel free to drop them in the chat box, and we'll be happy to answer them. For the introduction part, my name is Rajveer. I am a BBA 7 student. I'm from India, and currently I'm the president of the Student Governance Association. The SGA is what we call it here at La Roche. I'm doing my majors in finance. I'll be graduating in a couple of months, and it's been a great journey here at La Roche. And I will let Jonathan and Polina introduce themselves before we go on.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jonathan. I'm in BBA 6 right now, and currently I hold the position of Vice President of the SGA in collaboration with Rajveer and Polina. It's my final year at La Roche, and as Rajveer said, it's been quite a journey. I'm happy to have this trip, and I'm looking forward to answering all of your questions today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Polina, and I'm the value counselor of the SGA this semester. I'm from Russia, and currently I'm the student of La Roche. I'm doing BBA 4 semester, and we're really happy to welcome you guys. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you.
All right. So we this is the board, like we explained to you. There's Jonathan, who's BBA 6, myself BBA 7, and Paulina BBA 4. So as you can see, we here at La Roche, the SGA board is very diverse. I'm from India. Jonathan is half Thai and half from Brunei, and we have Paulina who's from Russia. So we have three different nationalities, three different batches coming together to comprise the Student Governance Association to actually show the diversity, the inclusivity, and to always ensure that whatever decisions we make and things we do are all fair, transparent, and considering all the stakeholders in the student body. Um, Now, what does the SGA stand for? Uh, our vision towards the school, towards La Roche, towards helping the student body is to guide them and become their voice. At La Roche, we talk about the La Roche way of life, and it's our job to actually represent the students and make sure that they're happy. They are getting what they need in terms of activities, in terms of student life, and we want to create a culture of excellence and accountability by engaging the students alongside in everything that we do. And like I will elaborate on this more as we go on through the presentation. And I think we are all here as we talk about the La Roche community as a whole. We are here as a community, and we, the SGA, are helping the management and the student body to facilitate communication better. And the holistic goal is to improve the La Roche way of life. And as for the election process, so a lot of people might ask, how does it work? How and I will come back to this in a while, but I will let Jonathan and Paulina explain you a little bit about the election process because all the three of us went through it. So Paulina, well, she'll introduce you about the process for becoming a value counselor, since that's a little different as compared to Jonathan and I. And then we come to the president and the vice president elections. Paulina, please.
Thank you, Rajveer. At first, I received an email from the present SBA at that time. And for the value counselor, it's not an election, it's an interview. So I applied, I sent my CV, my motivation letter, where I explained why I want to be an SGA this semester. And after I had an interview with the present vice president and the president of the SGA, and after the interview, I received an email that I was
Selected.
selected. Yeah, and this is it for the value counselor. And after we came back, the new semester started, and we started to work with Roger and Jonathan.
Uh, Jonathan, would you like to explain your journey through the election process?
Of course, of course. Unlike Paulina, who had an interview to get into the spot of value counselor, both Rajveer and I had to go through an election process. And what that entails is we send off our applications to the current management. And then after that, we hold a bit of a voting process amongst all the students, even the students on internship. So that includes BBA2 and BBA5. After the results are gathered, we go through a screening, and then we are elected president and vice president.
Well, to elaborate on what Jonathan said, when we talk about eligibility, there is no certain rule that states if you're in one particular class or the other that you can or cannot be eligible. What is really very important is to have an impeccable disciplinary and security record. That is of utmost importance because you are at this point you are in a place where you are representing the entire student body, and hence your disciplinary record has to be impeccable. That is one eligibility criteria that's very important. There is nothing pertaining to classes or batches as such, semesters as such. But as a pattern, like I've been in the Roche 3.5 years now, Jonathan almost 2.5, 3 years, same for Polina. And we have usually seen a pattern that the students who tend to take up these responsibilities take them up on their higher semesters, which means it could be a BBA 6 or a 7, probably a 4. But that does not mean that you cannot apply from before. As Jonathan already mentioned, Jonathan and I had to go through an election process, and Paulina had an interview. So it's a different way of electing. In the election process, we are allowed to campaign for our personal selves through various posters, social media. However, every piece of material that we use for campaigning has to be pre-approved by the current SGA, the current Student Governance Association, which means that when Jonathan, Paulina, and I will be hosting the elections for the upcoming SGA, whatever they would like to use as their campaign material has to be pre-approved by us before they can actually use it. And then it all boils down to convincing your fellow peers and colleagues in order to why you are, very eligible or good for this particular position. And basically, that is all the information pertaining to the campaigning side, and basically marketing your own self and actually showing the people of Laroche that when you are in these places, you can actually lead them and make the Laroche way of life better. Moving on, the next slide, we will be talking about responsibilities. So I will again let Paulina and Jonathan start first before I sum up the entire responsibilities. Yes.
Thank you, Rajveer. I'll start with my responsibilities as vice president. As you can see, the first bit of text there is I'm in charge of the class delegates and semester representatives. What I act as is a bit of the middleman between management and the student body. And so as students of Roche, we have class reps. And of those class reps, one of those class reps for each semester is selected as the class representative. A semester representative who will represent the voice of, let's say, of the entire semester. And what I do is I host town halls in which I hear everything they have to say and all the feedback that they would like to give me. And I also take what management would like to say and I pass it on to them. And then when I have my meetings with management, I pass on what was discussed in the town hall, those minutes, and I give it on to management. And that way we have a clear and stable communication between management and the student body. Of course, on top of that, I assist the president, and I have a hand to play in some of the events that go on here. I would say my main contribution this semester would be a lot of the sports. But other than that, that entails all of my listed responsibilities.
So as a value counselor, I am the third person always. So if the president and the vice president have different opinions, I'm the last opinion, and this opinion is everything depends on this opinion, basically. Also, since the semester started, I took part in some of the events that was run by SGA. And also, as Jonathan mentioned before, I'm also the part of the communication between the management, the students, and the whole SGA board.
Um, so thank you, Jonathan and Polina. When it comes to the president's role of the SGA, it is basically heading the entire. If we go through a flow chart, a so to say chart point of a view, it's like Johnson said. Under the vice president, we have the academic stakeholders side, wherein he is responsible for all the class delegates and semester representatives, and Jonathan is instrumental. Excuse me, Jonathan is instrumental in addressing the academic related concerns from the academic part and actually bringing them up to the management and being the middleman in resolving them, as he mentioned. More so for me, if you look at the constitution, we in the HTA we have a proper constitution and the bylaws which every member does follow and swears by to follow throughout the course of their tenure in the Student Governance Association. As for me, I had six various departments under the SGA. So these various departments, which I will be explaining to you further ahead, have six different heads. So these six heads of departments, the three of us, which is Purina, Jonathan, and I, we choose before the semester starts. And once we have appointed these heads choose their own team members. So like this, it's a flow of communication that works, and that's how we organize events over here. And also, the three of us as the board meet with the management bi-weekly, and we discuss issues, we discuss things that need to be done, how to carry them out, how the communication needs to be passed on. And Polina is here to assist us as well in case there's anything that's related to values or morals or discipline that needs to be done. That's when Polina comes in. So that is the basic responsibilities that we share. I will be more than happy to share some more things with you in proper detail, and you can, if there are any questions as well, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Now, coming on to when I told you about the departments and the responsibilities of each department. So what we're going to do is we have six departments, and we are. I'm going to explain them to you. Some of them, some Jonathan, some Paulina. So student life. We have a department for student life. So there's a head, and he has about 5 to 6 team members. Uh, in the student life department, they are responsible for basically creating, developing, and executing all the events. Of course, with all our support. And it's very nice. It's very systematic the way it works in. So let's say that we get an idea for an event that, hey, I want to do this. Great. So let's say the person who came up with the idea comes up to the head of student life, and they together create a proposal. The proposal they will run through us first. We'll have a look. If we think the event is feasible, it runs through the student affairs and then gets approved by the management. So there's a proper flow of communication that's been said, and that's what is followed. And that's the job of the student life department to actually organize and enhance the student life here at La Roche. We have communications. Communications, again, one head, a few team members responsible for promotion of all the events, creating posters, promoting the events, taking surveys, asking what our students need so that we adapt to the events according to the students' needs. And one more is the warehouse. So for you to know, the warehouse is a student-run bar here on campus at La Roche. So the SGA, the student governance, runs that particular bar. We have the members of the SGA working there every Wednesday and Friday. This is the regular openings, and this is one of the part of the SGA portfolio where we organize an opening of the warehouse every Wednesday and Friday for the students to come after class. Have a very good club kind of an environment. It has indeed been very successful this semester. The students are really enjoying it, and we have two heads for those because it's a very big operation. It's very rigorous, and with students on campus, it needs to be managed very efficiently. We have two heads for that, and they have a huge team that works like clockwork and makes the warehouse run twice a week. And I will have Jonathan explain you about finance and graduation dinner. And then we have Paulina explain about clubs and societies.
And so the head of finance, what his job is, he works very much in tandem with head of warehouse, as all those finances, all those stock control, inventory control, all the closing and opening of the account, it's all done by head of finance in conjunction with head of warehouse. Another thing that's very interesting to note about all our events at La Roche, as well as the regular openings of warehouse, is that all this money, it goes towards graduation. And that leads me very, very nicely to my next point, which is graduation dinner. The head of graduation is, I would say, the MC of the graduation dinner. It's his or her responsibility to make sure that the graduation dinner is a very memorable event and it does justice to the students who are graduating. Just to backtrack a bit, head of finance has to ensure that there are finances to take care of all the events, take care of warehouse, as well as make sure that there's enough change every time that we open up for business. And summed up very quickly, he's the last straw when it comes to touching money when at La Roche in the student governance.
So clubs and societies is responsible for all the clubs. We have a culinary club, we have a wine club, we have a cocktail club. That's it.
Coffee. La Roche gives back.
That's just to name a few for you all to know. We are currently running on 11 clubs and societies active on campus.
Yeah, and basically the clubs and societies department is responsible for all those clubs and societies if they interact with the warehouse, for example, or the graduation dinner. Those departments, when they interact, the head of the department and all team members, they're responsible for it. And the communications department.
The communications department is practically the marketing department of our SGA.
They're responsible for the Instagram page, basically.
They're responsible not only for the Instagram page, but also for things such as the newsletter, any posters or advertising that needs to happen for events that we may host. Warehouse team, every Wednesday and Friday, we need advertising to get those sales up.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, something that's very relatable to right now is very recently we had a bit of a COVID measure that COVID measure video that we need to take care of, and that's the communications team as well. So as I said, they're just the marketing team of the student governance.
They just make sure that the students on campus and off campus are always updated about the school life on campus.
So to sum up what Jonathan and Paulina said, is that these are students working for the students because they have the passion to do so. There's no monetary benefit in this. There's nothing that's giving them some. It's not out of a material benefit, is what I'm trying to put forth. It's these students working with their passion. We are here to learn and taking all of this as a learning experience and creating a better life for the students. That is why it is very important to know that whatever events we do here are all developed by students, executed by students, and they are made for the students. So you see how it's a circle, it's how tightly knitted of a community this is. And this is a great example that all these people are working so that the graduating batch has a great graduation dinner at the end of the day. And I feel proud to be part of such a community. It is an honor to be leading this particular student governance this semester. And these are very small things that actually make up to a lot of what you learn and what you take away from the Roche in general, so to say. And this was a basic sum up of all our departments, major 6 departments, and then anything else that we need, if there's any support that we need from the marketing department, from the multimedia department, we're always being provided with that. And it is really fascinating to see how this works. Now, coming on to the next slide, we are talking about the management. So it is a student governance association. That is a way that it is supposed to work. There are things in place that are there to facilitate better communications, efficient operations, etc., etc. Now, what are some of these measures? Now, frequency of meetings. There are two types of meetings that we're talking about here. One is Jonathan, Polina, and I as the board with our heads and team members, which is an internal SGA meeting. And one is Jonathan, Paulina, and I with the management or the stakeholders of the school in order to actually communicate and get messages across from the students to the management and vice versa. So the video that Jonathan mentioned in 2 minutes ago is an example of how we communicate in fun ways to our community. That about protocols, about advertisements. That is how the management will ask that. Okay, this is what needs to be done. Three of us brainstorm about how we can do it. We communicate it to our heads, and that's how we get things done. It is always in a flow of communication. So these meetings are conducted fortnightly, that means once every 14 days. And we have a system of minutes wherein we write everything who was present, what were the issues that were discussed. And this helps us keep a track of what meetings we've had in the past and the actions that we have dwelled upon on those points, how we've dwelled upon those points, and how we have improved from, so to say, the previous meetings. And now, very importantly, we're discussing the relationship with the Laros management team. Uh, you need to understand that it is very crucial for us to have the support of the management. And we can testify undoubtedly that whatever we have needed till date, it has been 8 weeks of us running DSG already. It's the eighth week now. So a good 2 months, and we have received all the possible support that we have asked for. And in return, we have also helped the management in order to convey the things that they want us to convey and carry out and do the projects that we had to do in order to enhance the student life. So it works in a very two-way. It's a very two-way relationship, and it has been a great one until now. And I'm very sure it is going to be so in the future. And I will let Jonathan talk about how we have the head of clubs and societies and how we coordinate with all the clubs for various events.
So this year, head of clubs and societies is a man named Reddy, and he's doing a very, very good job as he's in charge of the same way I'm the middleman between management and the academic student body. Head of clubs and societies is the middleman between SGA and all the clubs and societies. So his job is to make sure that we're in the loop for any of the events that are going on, and if he needs any sorry, if any of the clubs and society needs any help, that they get it and they will receive it from SGA. And so it's imperative this man's role in the school right now. All the event forms and everything are overseen by him in conjunction with student life. And so a lot of the event, well, I would say all the events, bar warehouse, goes through clubs and societies as well as student life.
And thank you, Jonathan. Now, the most important point about communication with students. Now, I'll be very honest with you on this one. There are two ways where we get the message across. One is the official channels. We have the official student governance Instagram. We have email, everything. But at the same time, I think what really matters is the word of mouth. Our connections, our how we spread the word about an event. So one is, yes, we do promote everything through Instagram. We communicate it to the students via emails about what is going on in what's going on in the college, what's the activities coming up. But at the same time, we meet our friends, we talk to them about it. Like, hey, this is coming up. Do you want to bring some of your friends along? And yeah, that's how we spread the message as well. We communicate with the students. And this is not only about communication, we are also here to listen to the students. So if at all there is any grievance, anything that the the student body wants, we are here to listen to them, evaluate the feasibility of the option or the idea that we have gotten, or the level of grievance that we've gotten, and actually end up with a solution. That is us brainstorming, talking to the management. Can something be done about it? If yes, how can it be done? And if it's actually feasible to actually execute the particular task or project grievance, however you want to put it. Um, Now that was a very I gave you a very general idea about how the SGA works in terms of communications and between management and meetings and everything. I think now we can get down to the specifics of the activities that we organize. So how do we do the activities? What do we do in the activities? And I think let's have Polina start with a little bit, and then Jonathan and I can dwell upon the activities.
So the first one is the warehouse. Warehouse is like a small like bar on campus, and we open. It's open every Wednesday and Friday for students, for everyone. You can buy cocktails there. We have a huge menu with cocktails. There is a really nice music, and if you're new, for example, you can just come there, meet new people, and have fun. The second activity that we have, and students really love this one, is a pop-up stores where we sell different stuff with
Our merchandise.
merchandise, yeah, with La Roche. For example, hoodies. What else do we have there?
What
We
is-
have the varsity jackets, like everything related to the La Roche
La Roche, yeah,
merchandise, and that's a pop up store because La Roche students, they love to wear their alma mater's merchandise because it really shows that you're from La Roche, you're going out somewhere wearing that hoodie, people recognize you. It's a very good feeling. As a lot of you might wear your own schools or colleges merchandise. It's very similar thing that we have here. Jonathan, would you like to elaborate upon the lovely Halloween weekend we had?
Of course. So coming off Halloween last week, we had a crazy, crazy, crazy weekend because that was a lot of planning that came into fruition, came into being. We planned multiple events for the Halloween. Namely, there was a cocktail club event, including a haunted house, as well as a warehouse event with also another haunted house in two different locations at the school on 2 different days. So the warehouse event happened on the Friday, and it was a great success. It was a reservation system and all that, and we also just to make it an annoying point, we always make sure to abide by the code regulations, and so we're never in the wrong anywhere. We also followed that up, but with the Saturday with another haunted house plus cocktail club event, which went very, very well. I had great feedback on that, and a matter of fact, we had a lot of positive reviews on the haunted house for the cocktail club event because we actually had a good amount of screams if anyone was there to, to see. So yeah. While I'm here, I'd also like to talk about the sports, if that all right.
Yes, of course. Can we come back to that in just a minute?
Of course.
Actually, when Jonathan said the haunted house, it reminded me of a. If it's very fascinating how it goes. So it's all started on Thursday, wherein we had some candles, some pumpkins to be carved, and for decoration. And we were wondering, how do we get this? How do we get the students of La Roche in the spirit of Halloween? So what we did was we let the students sign up. We have something called Moodle that we use, and where you can sign up for various activities. And we opened the signups. We had 25 pumpkins. We opened the signups to students, the first 25 to come in, and they could come in, express their creativity, and actually carve pumpkins in their own style. And we had some nice prizes for the best pumpkin and the second best. We had two, three prizes for those things. And whatever the other decorations were, as Jonathan mentioned earlier, we have an arts club. So we took the help of the art club and took their expertise on art and actually did these decorations by ourselves. And these were the decorations that were used for the fright night on Friday, for the fright night on Friday, and same for Saturday. So it's very nice how interconnected these things are. Art club helping, the students helping, the student life team putting up the fright night and everything like that. So we'll have Jonathan talk about some sport activities, and then we have a question to answer. So
Of course, with the sport activities, as I mentioned earlier, we have quite a few. Oh, we have a question. How often do you organize events with your association? I'll talk about sport first, 30 seconds, and then we'll move on. So with the sport activities, with the COVID regulations, very hard to get games with spectators. How that being said, we do have games with Lyon, with other schools within this canton and within this region. We have a great, very strong football team who are winning games, as well as a very strong basketball team who are training hard for the game in Lyon, which is coming up soon. That's all I have to say for that. Rajveer, would you like to answer the question given?
Absolutely. So the frequency of events really depends on several factors. Now, as we know that the warehouse, it is indoors, so that's a designated 2 times a week opening. However, if there's an extra event that needs to be done, that can be done. Now, when you talk about regular events, we try to keep the students busy with something every other weekend. So, if not exactly from the student governance, if we're not organizing anything inside the school, the student affairs department every weekend has some trips, some places that one can go to. These include, for example, we have a trip to Lucerne coming up. We have a trip to the Kayer Chocolate and Cheese Factory. We have a trip to the Montreux Christmas Market. So it is a very nice back and forth between activities on campus and activities organized off campus, where students can actually take the transport provided by the school, go and explore these places, explore Switzerland at very subsidized prices as compared to what they would pay if they were taking a train or going out by themselves. So the frequency is such that there is no weekend that there is absolutely nothing. Either there'll be something organized on campus by the SGA or something by the student affairs, which will include hikes, trips, some experiences, paintball. It's an array of activities that I can go on explaining about. And there are, for example, one very successful, I'd say, series of events is the Foodie Fair. This started about a semester ago, and this was the brainchild of the previous student governance. This is where, so we have a fast food restaurant called B3, and we have a small area outside that. This is where we barbecue some nice food. We have the cocktail club preparing cocktails. There's very nice music, outdoor seating. Of course, now not anymore. It's not anymore. It's the first snow already. So I believe that idea won't work anymore. But we did one though. It's been, I think, 2.5 weeks ago. We did one which was the last day of summer edition, and that was the one for this semester where students would come in. We had a tropical menu, some tropical cocktails, very nice music, and this is one, I'd say, franchisee of events that is very much liked and is popular amongst the students. Um, and for you to know, we are coming up. We are bringing back the very, I'd say, light among the student body. It's called the Le Roche Got Talent, and I will not divulge any more details about this since we're already in the planning phase. But I will definitely ask you to stay tuned in the next 2 weeks for some exciting footage of the competition and some other activities that we have planned with it. So we're hoping for it to be a nice grand event, and please tune into the social media accounts of the Student Governance Association in order to follow how these events are planned and the grandeur of them, basically. Um, well, if any of you have any questions until now, if there's anything we can answer for you about activities, about the student governance, or even in general, if there's anything at all, we'd be more than happy to do so. And
If not, Rajveer, would you like to elaborate on some of? Oh, we do have a question coming in. What do you like most about the association?
Okay, that is interesting.
It
What
is.
do I like most? I think my strength at this point is my team. That's what I like the most about this association. The thing is that as being the leader of an organization, if something goes good, people come to you and say, and if something goes bad, you are the one responsible. But at the same time, I believe that whenever if something has gone off good, I believe it wouldn't have been possible without my team. And the best part for me about my organization is it's the team, because if there's no team, there's no work, there's no events, so it's all a domino effect. And let's see what Jonathan and Paulina have to say.
I feel on my end, it's very hard to disagree with what Rajveer said, and I'm in full agreement with that. But on top, just to add, I would say it's just the ability to make events happen. Being part of this SGA does give you a lot of, it opens a lot of doors for you for your ideas to be heard. And also at the same time, it gives you an opportunity to really follow through with the idea and make an event happen. Not to say that if you're not part of the SGA, you can't do this. I'm just saying that when you're in the SGA, it's much easier to make an event happen. And if you present your idea and say, "Hi, I'm from the SGA," it, it has more
That
weight.
that's very true. How about you, Paulina? What's your favorite thing about the SGA?
So for me personally, firstly, it's a lot of experience that I'm gonna get uh, being in SGA. Also, for me, I'm really honored to be the part of the school. So it's really important for me, like, to be the part of this organization, to organize the student life on campus, and interact with a lot of people.
That is indeed very true as well, what Paulina said. And I believe, sarcastically speaking, the three of us, the favorite part is meetings. No, just kidding. It's not the best, but it's very important. We have to go through a lot of meetings throughout the week, and but although it's not fun, but it's very necessary at the same time. But anyways, that was on a very light note. It's important. It's important for meetings to happen to facilitate communication. But yes, I mean, this is what we do here. We do it for the students, because we have a passion to do so, and in the process, we learn so much, because it as someone rightly said, with great positions comes great responsibility. So it may seem to a lot of people very extra fancy from the outside, that oh, he's the president, he's the value counselor, she's the vice president, something like that. But at the end of the day, it is a lot of responsibility that we share, and we are managing this along with our academic journeys. I'm in my final semester doing finance. I'm managing this. Jonathan in BBA 6, not an easy semester. Paulina as well in BBA 4, climbing up the ladder. And at the same time, we are doing this, and it's all the passion in us. It's all it's our dedication towards La Roche, towards the community which we are a part of. And I think it's an honor and it's a pleasure to be a part of this, and to be able to actually create this level of student life at the community, and specifically in these times, because although we are approaching the new normal, the restrictions still happen to be in play, and there is not much, like, I would say we are nowhere close to the pre-COVID life, and that is where I believe our role as a student governance becomes more and more crucial, in order to have the students here, I'd say, entertained, happy, and for them to say by the end of the semester that, wow, despite these COVID regulations, we were busy, we had great time, organized, we organized activities, and it's actually very fascinating. So, if any of you who are watching are current students, or any of you who are joining us soon, I would encourage you that by the time you are finishing your studies, do try and join the SCA. It is not something that I'm marketing to you. I'm being very honest in terms of a simple learning experience perspective. So I think Jonathan and Paulina would agree with me on this. Is that we from an honest opinion, it's a great learning experience, and you should actually go ahead with it.
Just, just to elaborate and bring that point home, being a part of the SGA has taught, I think, Paulina, you more than anybody can agree with this, that it has taught you a lot.
Yeah,
like a leadership skill.
definitely, of course.
Just to add a bit of a personal note, Polina, you want to share? I feel like it's a very interesting note for these guys. If you share your before and after
Ah,
SGA, because I feel
before
like
and
completely
after.
different person. I feel I'll let her talk.
Yeah, like it just gives you more confidence even when you see that people think that you can elaborate in a school life, that you can be the part of the school even for one semester. It gives you a lot of confidence, and also like when you meet people you become more open, more international, because we have a different cultures in the school. So yeah, I feel like I don't know, like Jonathan can see like he knew me before and he knows me now, and yeah, I'm completely different person. Not just because of the SJ,
Of
but
course, of
still
course.
SJ taught me a lot, even like for this in a month, because the semester is only
Yeah.
7 weeks has been passed. So yeah.
Yes, indeed, and that is another, I'd say, constraint that we meet, because when we become the SGA, it is a perception is that, oh, we have a lot of time, we have the whole semester to organize activities and things like that. But before you know, you are already approaching the end of the semester. Like I mentioned, we are in the eighth week and did not realize when the first seven passed by. And it is going to be the same. So that, I'd say, forces us to be on our feet, to actually keep keep thinking, keep brainstorming about ideas, because even though we do have ideas, we need time to execute them, and the time is where the constraint comes in. So involves a lot of advanced planning, a lot of other things, other criteria that are involved. But nonetheless, I mean, I'm happy to say that we pull it off eventually. Maybe with some errors. That's normal. That's bound to happen. Nobody's perfect, but we do tend to pull it off. And as I mentioned before, it's all to the team. It's all to their individual effort, which combines as the collective effort of the SGA, which enables us to create these events and have the student life up and running and happy. So, are there any other questions that any of you might have, or anything else? Then we'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And for those of you watching this video, if at all you have some questions after the presentation, uh, you can feel free to contact and the three of us. If you find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, anywhere, or even Le Roche's official at info@leroche.edu, um, which is where someone will definitely get back to you with all the necessary answers. So if that is the lovely team, this is the board and the heads. So this was a small photo shoot that we did last week, and as you can see, we are comprised of very different classes, some different. Everyone has an individual perspective to put in, and that is what makes the whole essence of the SGA. That's what makes it so beautiful, because everyone is creative or good in one way or the other. And when all these ideas, all these brains, all these creative minds come together, it actually tends to form a very nice, very beautiful piece. Yes. So yes, that's all from us. I thank all of you who joined in here. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Polina, for taking out time. And once again, if there's anything, please feel free to reach out to us.